The Draconis hegemony is the fiercest predator in their galaxy. They have conquered many worlds with their strength, speed, and advanced weapons. When they attack the human colony on the distant planet Vidia 4, they expect an easy victory. But the humans are not weak. They are clever, united, and ready to fight back in ways the Draconis never imagined. This story is full of tension and surprise. It shows a battle between two very different kinds of hunters, one used to being the top predator, the other driven by a fierce will to survive. The stakes are high, for the Draconis, their pride and power. For the humans, their home and future. The story dives deep into fear, hope, and the shocking truth about who really rules the galaxy. The colossal ship hung silent above the green world, a giant predator watching its prey. High Praetor Canal's forked tongue flicked, tasting the recycled air of his command bridge. His golden scales gleamed faintly under the dim bioluminescent lights. His cold eyes scanned the holographic display of the planet below. This world, Vidia 4, was a new jewel waiting to be taken. The humans lived there, soft, fragile creatures, dependent on their machines and lights. Canal's warriors had already bombarded their orbital defenses. Satellites were dust. Their electrical grid was dark, and their communications lay in ruins. Now, all that was left was the final strike. Status report, Canal hissed, his voice low and full of power. High Praetor Panthea Vexia responded, her emerald scales shining with pride. Bombardment complete. The colony is blind and disorganized. Their primitive technology fails them. Canal's tail flicked sharply. Their weapons are weak. They cannot stand before us. On the rocky plateau overlooking New Haven Valley, Centurion Korg's drop pod slammed into the ground. The airlock hissed open, releasing him into the twilight of the setting stars. His thermal vision painted the landscape in sharp reds and oranges. The human fortress carved into the mountain glowed like a wound, warm and vulnerable. Pathetic, Korg growled to his second, Jackster. They bleed heat like a gutted beast. Jackster, the second Centurion, nodded. Fire is a tool they needed to survive the night. How did such weaklings crawl to the stars? Korg led his legion forward, 300 Draconis warriors moving as one deadly force. Their movements were silent clicks and hisses, perfectly coordinated. At the fortress doors, no human guards waited. Korg frowned. No honor in this. No challenge. He planted breaching charges. The blast doors blew open, and the legion surged inside. Inside, their heat sensors caught the frantic warmth of fleeing humans. Find their leaders alive, Korg commanded over their comms. All others are expendable. They swept through narrow corridors built for smaller bodies, stooping as they went. Emergency lights flickered on. Backup generators, Korg noted. The humans refused to accept true darkness. In a logistics hall, 20 humans held position behind crates, firing their crude rifles. Korg chuckled as the metal slugs pinged harmlessly off his armor. One human shouted, "Is that a cosplay?" Another replied, "We're in a base, Chuck. Not a costume party." The humans fired again, their courage brave but useless. Some ran, others emptied their weapons in hopeless defiance. Suddenly, the lights went out. Total darkness swallowed the room. Korg's thermal vision lit the humans in reds and oranges. But their heat signatures were calm, controlled, almost smiling. A voice echoed, cold and calm. "Welcome to our house." The humans attacked with ferocity no predator expected. They moved like shadows, striking with brutal weapons that tore through Draconis armor. The legionnaires fell one by one, confused and terrified. Korg's roar filled the darkness as his warriors were hunted, dismantled, and destroyed. The humans laughed, joked, and played like hunters with their prey. The blast doors slammed shut behind the retreating Draconis. Blinding lights flooded the corridors, searing the eyes of the predators. The humans were everywhere, striking with deadly precision. Korg was last standing, his legion destroyed. A human officer approached calmly, wiping blood from his boots. Centurion Korg, I presume. I'm Talman Walter, he said, smiling coldly. Korg's fury and fear burned within him. You are supposed to be weak, he growled. Walter laughed. We learn to hunt. We learn to survive. We are the true predators. Korg realized his mistake. The hunters had become the hunted. High Praetor Canal paced the bridge of the Draconus dreadnought, his golden scales dulled by growing unease. 6 hours had passed since Centurion Korg and his first Fong Legion entered the human bastion. Not a single word, not one transmission had come from the Legion. Life signs for all 300 warriors were now dead gray across the tactical monitors. A silence that screamed of disaster. Panthea Vexia, Canal's trusted High Praetor, licked her lips with unease. Tech Adept Hesk, could this be a communication failure? The young technician shook his head, his emerald scales paling. It is impossible, High Praetor. All 300 comms offline at once. The life monitors, they are dead. Canal's tail snapped angrily against the floor. We are the apex predators of this sector. No prey can best us. But the image on the screen told a different story. The plateau outside the bastion's command center was empty. The fiery heat signatures of Korg's legion were gone. Only cold stone remained. Suddenly, a horrific sight unfolded on the holographic display. The fallen bodies of the Draconus were arranged with cruel precision, spelling 2 words large enough to be seen from orbit: send more. Panthea's sharp claws clicked on the deck as she whispered, this is a message, a warning. No, Canal growled. This is an insult. High Praetor, Hesk's voice trembled. Sensors show movement. Multiple heat signatures approaching. But, they are too hot, too bright to be natural. Before Canal could react, explosions shattered the eerie quiet. A cacophony of human voices erupted through the comm channels, laughing and shouting in battle cries. From the shadows of the abandoned colony, humans appeared. Unarmed, they gathered in the open plaza like a wild pack ready to hunt. They raised bottles in mock toasts, their eyes gleaming with fierce defiance. Vexia leveled her plasma caster at the largest human, a massive man with a thick beard and arms like tree trunks. Surrender now, or be destroyed. The man laughed deeply. You took your time getting here. The beer was getting warm. His companions joined in, their laughter ringing in the still air. They carried no advanced weapons, only simple rifles and strange devices. But they were ready. Suddenly, a volley of flashbangs exploded among the Draconus ranks. The bright light and thunderous noise tore through their senses, overwhelming their finely tuned armor systems. Vexia screamed, clutching her head as pain seared through her helmet sensors. The humans surged forward, riding thunderous mining haulers and heavy cargo trucks, crushing Draconus warriors beneath their wheels. The battlefield became a chaotic storm. The humans fought like animals cornered but fearless, using everything at their disposal. Molotov cocktails, makeshift weapons, and explosives tore through the elite Draconus troops. Vexia's squad fell one by one. The bearded man tackled her to the ground, jamming a burning thermite charge into her helmet joint. Her screams echoed across the plaza as the suit's systems failed, and molten metal burned into her scales. On the command bridge, Canal watched in stunned horror. His best warriors, his personal guard, were being slaughtered by what looked like ragtag civilians. Yet these humans were no ordinary foes. They fought with a savage joy, looting the bodies of their enemies for trophies and keepsakes. One woman pried a fong from a dead warrior's mouth and smiled. This one's a beauty. Another joked about making wallets from Draconus hide, their laughter cold and merciless. Canal's fury turned to dread. This was not a battle. It was a cull. The humans disappeared into the dark alleys and rooftops, striking like ghosts and melting away before counterattacks could find them. Vexia's dying words were a curse against the relentless tide of humans, her voice fading as she was crushed beneath a massive industrial hauler. The Draconis, once the most feared species in this part of the galaxy, were now prey running for their lives. High Praetor Canal sat frozen in his command chair, the weight of defeat pressing down like a crushing tide. The video feeds from Vidia 4's surface showed nothing but chaos and ruin. His pride, his elite warriors, the Sun Eaters, were being hunted, dismantled by creatures they once thought weak. A sudden alert drew his attention. A priority transmission was incoming, the sender, Governor General Talman Walter of the human colony. Canal clenched his claws as the hologram flickered to life. There stood Walter, unarmored, average height, soft-skinned, a stark contrast to the towering Draconis. Yet his eyes burned with cold certainty, a predator's gaze that unnerved Canal. High Praetor Canal, Walter began smoothly. I believe you have been making a mess in my backyard. Canal hissed, voice breaking with rage. Your resistance is futile. I have 10,000 warriors aboard my fleet. I will reduce your colony to ash. Walter smiled, a wolf's grin. You think you play checkers, but this is three-dimensional chess. You're already checkmated. The screen shifted, showing internal security footage from Canal's own dreadnought. A Draconis maintenance worker walked down a corridor, then vanished without a sound, pulled upward into the ceiling by an unseen force. Canal's breath caught. Impossible. Walter's voice grew colder. We call them shadow dancers. Stealth operatives with active camouflage and monomolecular blades. 12 of my best teams infiltrated your fleet before you even landed. The holo displayed scenes of silent death aboard the dreadnought. Crew members were killed with surgical precision, disappearing into the shadows. One was strangled by a nearly invisible wire, another cut down by a blade that seemed to pass through matter itself. Canal's mind raced. His ship was being dismantled from the inside out. Walter explained, we adapted because we had to. Our ancestors faced predators stronger and faster than us. We learned to be clever, to work as a pack, to strike from shadows. The truth struck Canal like a hammer. The invaders had become the hunted. The galaxy's apex predator was being outplayed. Suddenly, Canal's bridge was plunged into darkness. Whispered voices echoed from every corner, human operatives materializing like phantoms. A woman with white-painted face and twin knives danced through the corpses of his command staff, a playful smile on her lips. She vanished before his eyes, erased from reality itself. Walter's voice continued in the dark. Quantum phase shifting. You thought your technology made you safe. It made you predictable. Panic swept the bridge. Draconis soldiers clawed at their own heads, some collapsing as microscopic machines invaded their bodies. Walter's hologram grew larger, his eyes burning. We are not monsters. We are humans. We survived ice ages, volcanoes, predators, and each other. We are persistence hunters. We wear the skins of monsters. Canal's defiance crumbled. You are monsters. Walter's smile faded into something ancient and hard. We are the hunters now. The main lights surged back on. The shadows revealed dozens of black-clad human operatives surrounding the few remaining Draconis. One pressed a monomolecular blade to Canal's throat. Call off your fleet and retreat. Or we kill you all and bring your ships home as trophies. Canal's tail lay limp. His voice broke. Disengage. Full retreat. The female operative purred softly, spread the word. Earth is under human protection. And we always welcome a new challenge. As the crippled Draconis fleet limped away, Canal's gaze remained fixed on the planet below, a blue-green jewel hiding an unexpected apex predator. We report the truth, he whispered. We were wrong. The galaxy is not empty. We have found another apex predator. The Draconis fleet retreated through the cold silence of space. Ships limped away, hulls scarred, pride shattered. High Praetor Canal sat in his command chair, his thoughts heavy with bitter defeat. The humans had shattered everything they believed: strength, technology, and dominance. Back on Vidia 4, Governor General Talman Walter stood among the ruins of New Haven. The streets bore scars of battle, burning vehicles, shattered buildings, and the trophies taken from fallen Draconus warriors. But the humans were alive, united, and undefeated. Walter's voice echoed through a secure channel, calling the scattered human militias to regroup. "We hold this world. They thought us weak. They were wrong. Our strength is in our will, our unity." In hidden bunkers and underground tunnels, humans tended to their wounded. Children and elders watched the sky nervously, knowing the Draconus fleet might return. Yet fear was tempered by fierce resolve. Deep beneath the surface, a council of human leaders gathered. They discussed plans to strengthen defenses and prepare for future attacks. The colony's survival depended on adapting faster than their enemies expected. Meanwhile, aboard the retreating Draconus fleet, panic simmered. Tech adept Hesk and his engineers struggled to repair systems crippled by human sabotage. Reports of shadow dancers and nanotech assassins plagued their efforts. Canal summoned his closest advisors. "We underestimated them," he growled. "This war will not end on our terms." A veteran warrior spoke carefully. "High Praetor, our strength lies in order and power. But these humans fight like storms, chaotic and relentless. We must rethink our strategy." Canal's eyes burned with cold fire. "We will return. With fire and fury they cannot imagine." But deep inside, a seed of doubt took root. Were the humans truly prey, or was the galaxy about to learn a harsh new truth? As weeks passed, human scouts reported strange sightings in the jungle, creatures moving with unnatural silence, shadows shifting where none should be. The hunters had learned, adapting with speed rivaling their enemies. Walter visited a memorial built for those lost in the battle. Names of fallen friends etched into stone, a reminder of the cost of survival. Yet beneath the grief lay a fierce pride. "We are not victims," he told the gathered crowd. "We are the future. The galaxy is no longer ours to conquer, it is ours to protect." In the cold void, Canal's fleet made slow progress, gathering strength and allies. Whispers spread of the humans' strange tactics, their resilience, their uncanny ability to turn weakness into weapon. The Draconus, once unquestioned masters of war, faced a new enemy that refused to yield. And the galaxy watched, breath held, as two apex predators prepared for the next chapter of their deadly dance. The day came when the Draconus fleet returned. Their numbers fewer, but their fury greater. High Praetor Canal stood on the command bridge, his golden scales shimmering with renewed purpose. He had learned from defeat, but his pride demanded victory. Vidia 4 loomed before them, still scarred, still alive. The humans awaited, their defenses stronger, their tactics refined. This time, neither side would falter. As the Draconus drop pods descended, silent and deadly, human scouts watched from the shadows. They had prepared traps, ambushes, and counterattacks. This would not be the easy victory Canal had dreamed of. The battlefield was a tangled maze of ruined buildings, dense forests, and narrow canyons. Each side knew the terrain, each side hunted for the advantage. The clash began with a roar, a storm of plasma fire and blinding flashes. Draconus warriors charged, their powerful forms cutting through the thick air. Humans responded with guerrilla tactics, striking swiftly from hidden positions. Centurion Korg's voice crackled over the comms, leading a renewed First Fong Legion. His voice was tempered by past horror, but burning with resolve. "We will not fall again. We fight not just for glory, but for survival." On the ground, a young human fighter named Lyra moved like a shadow. Her active camouflage shifted with the environment, and her monomolecular blades whispered death. She remembered the terror of the first attack, and the bitter loss of friends. She struck at a Draconus warrior with precision, then melted into the darkness. Around her, human squads coordinated strikes, their teamwork flawless. The Draconis adapted as well, using their brutal strength and ancient tactics to press forward. Their plasma weapons scorched the earth, their roars echoed like thunder. The battle wove across valleys and crags, each kill met with fierce counterattacks. Humans used technology and cunning, Draconis relied on power and discipline. Canal found himself face to face with Talman Walter once more. Neither smiled. Both understood this fight was not just for a planet, but for the soul of the galaxy. "You think you are apex predators," Walter said coldly. "But the truth is, apex predators adapt." Canal growled, claws extended. "Then prove it." Their duel was brutal and swift, each strike a test of strength, skill, and will. Around them, the battle raged, the cries of warriors filling the air. When the dust settled, the survivors stood panting, battered, but unbroken. Canal looked at Walter and nodded slowly. "This fight is not over." Walter's eyes glinted with fierce hope. "No, it's just the beginning. The galaxy has changed. We are the new hunters." The war would rage on, but both sides had learned a vital truth: in the vast darkness of space, survival belonged not to the strongest alone, but to those who fought with heart, cunning, and unity. And on Vidia 4, the day had come when the galaxy's apex predators finally realized they were prey.